Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this complete army video for the DRUKHARI, or the Dark Eldar as they were formerly known. So this will be for 2000 points, 9th edition, and in the latest points values here. So this is a revamp for the list that I was using in 8th edition. I reckon the list was performing very well, so I've tried to transition it over to 9th edition. 9th edition missions are different now. It's all about board control and holding objectives, and being able to take objective and then hold it for a prolonged amount of time. So I think this DRUKHARI list should be good at doing that, but we'll see here. And in this video I'm going to explain the whole list, all the points values, all the unit choices, upgrades, war gear, strategies for the whole army, strategies for different units. So hopefully this video will be a help for you. I realise there are going to be different type of people watching the video. Some people brand new to collecting DRUKHARI, some people thinking about collecting them, others are sort of very experienced, and others sort of in between have some experience with the DRUKHARI already. So I was collecting DRUKHARI a good few years ago when they started to produce the new models. When they started to come out, I thought the models were amazing when Games Workshop did the resculpt. So they really are good models for sure. Then I shelved them for a while, sort of just didn't enjoy using them for a couple of years, so they've not been on the channel for a while, and then now revamped the army back in 8th edition, injected some new units, a better structure, and now really enjoy using them. They're a great fun army to use. It's a very strong play style and a very strong theme with the DRUKHARI as well. So this video is to help you. You can take elements of this list, you can copy the entire list if you wish and try it out. If you check out the league, which is over on the Plus channel, just head over to strikerscorpion82plus.tv. There's a tab there that says league, and you can see how well the DRUKHARI have been doing. They've been doing very well. It's a bit of a shock this season, so it's great to see them back and great to see them performing very well indeed. We'll see if that run continues as we transition over to 9th edition. So a little bit of reference to Phoenix Rising, just for the new Drazaar Master of Blades model, and the new plastic incubi, which I finished painting as well. They're just here. We'll bring them into the picture in just a moment. But the idea is to run through the list. I'm going to build up the list, we'll introduce all the units, and you can gradually see the army build up, and then at the end of the video I'll zoom out and you can see the entire footprint of the army and how it will look as a complete force. So it's 2000 points with the brand new points values. As DRUKHARI, like all the factions, have seen some points increases, so I've had to adjust for that accordingly. So I've had to drop some models and some units from the previous 8th edition list here. So the structure of the army, first of all, so you get 12 command points to start off with. I've gone for a battalion, and my warlord's in that battalion, so it costs you 3 command points, and then you get those 3 command points back, so sitting at 12. Then I've taken a patrol detachment, just to enable me to keep much of the structure of the previous list. So patrol doesn't cost too much, just 2 command points. And then I've added in an extra relic and an extra warlord trait as well. So I've dropped to 8 command points, but really during the game it's 13 command points, because you're gaining an extra command point at the start of each command phase for the 5 turns of the game. So I think 13 in total's fine. The most common stratagem that I'm using at the moment really with DRUKHARI is just the command reroll, so I imagine that's going to be the case. They have some stratagems that are okay, but seems that DRUKHARI, this list seems to cope alright without the use of too many stratagems. They seem to fight okay without the aid of too many stratagems. I reckon most of my stratagems are going to be command rerolls during the game. So we'll bring in the first unit in just a moment, but I want to talk about the whole theme and strategy here, so the whole way that I want this list to play. So Drukhari, obviously it's pirates is the theme with them, so perhaps seen as, you know, pirates often the smaller ship that attacks the larger ship, but through cunning and speed they're able to win the battle. And so it's the same with Drukhari. You're trying to mount a decent raid, and the opponent may have bigger and better tanks, bigger infantry and tougher infantry, but with speed and cunning you're able to execute a decent attack. So that's the idea I want with the Drukhari, sort of hard hitting, well coordinated raid by the Drukhari. And that's how they can be such fun to play. If you can coordinate a decent attack and in amongst the enemy lines and cause absolute havoc, it really is good fun. The other thing with pirates is you're often going to let off a few salvos to soften up the enemy vessel before they board the vessel and finish off the enemy crew. So it's the same I want with this list. Decent firepower to soften up the opponent, and then to close in for the kill in the later stages of the game. So you'll see some decent firepower here, I think, for this army, and then you're sort of holding off your melee until the opponent's been softened up enough. So that's the kind of theme that's going on, just so you get an idea of why I've chosen different units. And the intention is to get in close. They're fighting against the White Scars here. You can see them fighting up close and attacking from all different angles here, which is exactly how they should play. And again with pirates, you fear a pirate raid, and so it should be the same with Drukhari. You want your opponent to be afraid of when the Drukhari are going to strike. Again, fighting up close against the Space Wolves, not holding back against them. So that's the kind of theme. Again, here, causing havoc in amongst the Astra Militarum, slaughtering them as they emerge from their Chimera transport vehicles. So it really gives you the kind of idea of the way Drukhari should play, and we're going to try and reflect that with this list. So we'll cover the battalion first of all. Cabal of the Black Heart. I'll try and cover as much Tactica as I can to help you out. So we'll go Cabals are here. So you choose your Cabal just like you choose a Space Marine chapter. Cabal of the Black Heart, it's the first one, first for power. Units of this obsession have the power from pain ability. Treat the current battle round as being one higher than it actually is when determining what bonuses they gain. So, if you're not familiar with the rule, so power from pain on battle round 1, it's a 6+ feel no pain. So Drukhari army's going to get that straight away, but with Cabal of the Black Heart you're immediately going to get number 2 here as well, which is you can reroll the dice when determining how far your unit's bonus moves when it advances or charges. So useful to get that early in the game. Then it means you'll be quicker. Moving on to number 3, which is add 1 to hit rolls for units of this bonus in the fight phase. Then it's auto pass morale turn 4 usually, but you'll get that on turn 3. Cabal of the Black Heart. And then -1 to enemy leadership. I don't think that's that great, but you get these 4 here at 1 turn quicker than usual, so it's a good bonus. And then units of this obsession do not have the power from pain ability, instead gain the inured to suffering bonus. This is the big one. So inured to suffering is your 6+ feel no pain. Units that don't have that ability get it, such as your vehicles, and it was proved time and time again to be exceptionally useful, the ability to have 6+ feel no pain on the Drukhari vehicles. They're not that tough. They've got a 5+ invuln save, but often the opponent's going to get through and cause damage, and the ability to stand some kind of chance of just dropping wounds off by rolling 6s has proved very, very useful indeed. There's been times when like a flyer has taken 6 damage, and I've rolled 3 6s and only taken 3 damage, and it's very, very useful trying to add a bit more durability to your army. So Cabal of the Black Heart. So all the units that you're going to see in this battalion have that ability. Now put all the vehicles into that battalion just to give them that 6+ feel no pain. So HQ choices then, first of all. So we'll go through it in order. So yeah, the first one's the Archon. Like the hinge of the army, this one's such an important choice. So here he is. I was previously taking 2 Archons, but one of them's had to go. So I just have 1 Archon now in the list. So this is one of the old metal models here. I think they came as in a blister pack. You got 2 of them. That's that one just there. So I'm not going through all the stats here for the Archon. There is that 2+ invuln save, which is exceptionally useful. The equipment I've given him, so the new points value is 60 points to the Archon, still cheap enough. The blast pistol I've given him to make use of that 2+ ballistic skill and rerolling ones as well. Is 5 points, and the agonizer is 5 points as well, so 70 points. Nice cheap HQ choice. Main reason for taking him is the ability here for Overlord. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for cardboard units whilst within 6 inches of this model. So everyone in this battalion and anyone else that's from the same cardboard, they'll get rerolling 1s for shooting and for close combat. So it's like a Space Marine captain, really. But I've got a lot of sort of lance weapons in the army, and often hitting on 3+. The ability to reroll 1s is very, very useful, and it's the games that have been played previously. You'll see it over and over again. The ability to reroll 1s is very, very, very helpful. So, and now 9th edition, it seems that it's not too good idea to cluster your army together, and you often need to spread out to claim objectives, but the DRUKHARI are quick enough where they can cluster together for a while, they'll let off some decent firepower, and then split and spread and grab objectives quite quickly. But anyway, Archon there with that. Then just to really make him work harder during the game, I give him a Warlord trait. He is going to be the Warlord, and then give him the Warlord trait here. There'll be a relic as well, but it is, yeah, it's the one that's unique to Cabal of the Black Heart. So it's Labyrinth Cunning. Whilst your Warlord is alive, roll a d6 each time you or your opponent uses a command point or spends a command point to use a stratagem. You gain 1 command point, roll of a 6. So 6+ is to get refunding command points. Very, very useful. Chance to get a few more back with him, which is fantastic. Yeah, it's interesting. It just says whilst he's alive, so there's no worries if he's inside transport vehicles and so on. You can still roll it. Fantastic. And then the relic is Writ of the Living Muse, and again it's unique to Cabal of the Black Heart, so definitely well worth taking this Cabal here. It's the Archon only. Reroll wound rolls of 1 for any Cabal of the Black Heart unit starts within 6 inches of the bearer. So he's acting like a lieutenant, acting like a captain, and like a lieutenant, so granting reroll 1s to wound. And again, when you've got lance weapons, wounding vehicles on a 3+, the ability to reroll 1s is exceptionally useful. It's a massive help. So, because you really want those shots to hit their target and you want them to wound, and it's going to save you some command rerolls as well. Or you've rolled a 1 and a 2 to wound, you can reroll the 1 and then command reroll the 2, perhaps something like that. So, very, very small model. Not really interested in getting him stuck into close combat or leading from the front. He's there to be in the heart of the army, but it's more of his commanding ability to direct firepower, wounding targets, harvesting command points. Loads of responsibility for him, so it's well worth trying to keep him alive. And just to, you know, if he stays alive the entire game and just grants those bubbles and bonuses and doesn't actually do anything else, then he's still performing a vital role. So the Archon is in. Then to fulfill this battalion, because remember I've got a battalion and a patrol, I'll just take one more HQ choice, and that's the brand new Drazaar Master of Blades. So this is an HQ that I don't mind getting stuck into close combat. He's particularly effective, I think, against heavy infantry and especially Primaris type targets. Just with the updated rules. So I've got a points value for him of 105 points for Drazaar Master of Blades, and the model is incredible. Really, really good. Games Workshop have done a fantastic job with the resculpts of these characters. So just to summarise, you know, just over 100 points for this HQ choice. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4. He's got 6 wounds, so plenty of wounds, 4 attacks as base, a 2+ armour save, a 5+ invuln save. And he can fight with the demiclaves here, so you can go for single blade, which is +1 strength, so strength 5, 8 -3 and 2 damage, or dual blades, which is strength 4, strength of the user, 8 -2 and 2 damage, and he gets an extra 2 attacks with that weapon. Does get the power from pain bonuses, Murderous Assault. If this model made a charge move, you could choose to fight again with this model an additional time this turn, so fight twice as a standard power is fantastic. Any 6s to wound is +2 damage, so you're going up to damage 4, so it's going to hack down characters, cause problems for vehicles and so on as well. And Master of Blades, +1 to wound rolls for any Incubi units last within 6 inches of this model. I take it that he can benefit from his own bonus. Here's the Incubi keyword. So, helpful if he is taking on heavier targets. Yeah. So, I think he's excellent. Yeah. Yeah, he's going to win you he won't win you the game, but he's one to watch out for on the battlefield. And if you're sent in against the right target, a bit of Incubi support, it'd be great. It is great fun to watch them hacking down anything that's in their path. But often you're seeing games, he's tucked away, he's hidden away, and he just comes out at the right point, not to be thrown away lightly in a game. So you'll often find the first few turns of the game he really is tucked away and hidden away in a transport, and then comes out at the right point. If you like the look of my DRUKHARI, older models I've had and the brand new ones I've painted using the exact same method. So I've gone for sort of this glinting green, blue, silvery armor, this alien kind of armor here. I tried to reflect the original sort of artwork for the DRUKHARI. On the front of one of the old codexes, one of the bit of artwork there, it was kind of a shimmering blue-green silver armor. So that's what I've done here. It's just through a series of washes, quite straightforward. There is the painting tutorial here on YouTube, so you can look it up on the channel, how to paint Dark Eldar or DRUKHARI, and I just follow that video along, cover the basing, the washes and all the effects, painting on the metallics, the gems is all covered in that video, so you can check that out if you like the look of this DRUKHARI army. Then by all means follow that. Then over on the Plus channel there is the in-depth painting tutorial, so I take on, I think it's one of the Raiders, just one of the bigger, more daunting projects, so I'll show you how to paint one of those up in the same colour scheme. I'll cover things like chipping and these crazy patterns that are going on here as well, cover all of that in that video as well. So some resources for you if you like the look of this DRUKHARI force. What some people have done, they've told me that they've changed the washes around and gone for different shades, so you can swap the green and blue out for orange and red and purple and so on, and you can just make your own colour scheme up by following the same kind of method that I show you in the videos. So that's if you like the look of the army, and I cover basing and stuff in there as well. So that's Drazaar, he's in, 2 HQ choices. Then troops, I need 3. Got plenty of troops choices here, multiple small units, and again often hidden away inside transport vehicles, and they pop out at the right point during the game. So we'll go for the troops first of all. So well, Carbonite Warriors, so 3 units of 5, so 1, all the same combination, 2 and 3. Again, fantastic models from Games Workshop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's them. So they've gone up in points, but I've kept them. They've performed a useful role, and in the 8th edition list they were there to hang around, a bit of firepower support, take objectives. That's a massive thing now in 9th edition, so I need units that can float around, provide some firepower, and then claim objectives at the same time. So to do that, I'll go through all the points in just a moment. Each of these is allocated to a venom. So 1. It's a great combination of these multiple small units and multiple small transports. Proper pirate raid going on. There they are, there's 3 of those. You better see them all when we zoom out a bit later on. But 1, 2, 3 Venoms, they've gone up a fair bit as well, so still taking the double splinter cannon each. Need that firepower, just loads of DACA coming out from them. And it's quite hard for the opponent. The opponent's got to try and deal with the transport vehicle, crack that open, then try and destroy the crew inside. It's a bit of effort required, a bit of grinding effort that the opponent needs to try and get through those. And if I've got multiple small transports and units, then it's a lot of effort for the opponent to try and break each of those open, destroy the crew, and then move on to the next one. So there's a bit of durability there with the Venoms. Then providing some firepower support, nice and mobile with those as well. So transport vehicles are up here. Yeah, 16-inch move for these, fantastic. Really, really good. And the splinter cannon, yeah, rapid fire 3, got 2 of them, so 6 shots. If we get to range 18, it's going to be 12 shots. Now, remember, if I've got the Archon nearby, rerolling my ones to hit and to wound. So it's all to help them out. So there is -1 to hit them, very, very useful. It's the 5+ invuln save, very, very useful. Plus the 6+ feel no pain for Carbal of the Black Heart as well. So 1, 2, 3 of them, and then the Carbolite Warriors. Points cost for these Venoms is 60 points base now, and then 2 lots of 15 for the Splinter Cannons. They're 90 points a time with those. And then Carbolite Warriors, 5 of them is 45 points, and they'll just simply add a blaster to each squad. So a bit of anti-tank ability of each of those. Each one buried inside these are open top transport vehicles, so the squad can fire from inside the transport out at the enemy. One thing that's been pointed out by subscribers is that whilst these are inside the vehicle, I think it's the same for 9th edition, they can't receive any buffs and bonuses whilst they're embarked inside the transport. If that's changed for 9th edition, then maybe let us know in the comments section below. So starting to get the core of the army here. I've got a base of firepower, I've got decent mobility, and I'm able to protect my softer infantry, because these will not stand a chance if they're on foot. They'll be ambushed, blown away, destroyed, picked off very, very quickly. Put them inside transports, they keep a lot of their firepower, they're able to move very, very quickly, and it's harder for the opponent to get to them, and the opponent's got to spend time trying to get through basic transport vehicles in order to get through to the infantry. So just completely changes Carbolite Warriors, the ability to dash around the board, keep up that firepower, and prove much more durable. So that's the idea of that combo, and it's a very sort of popular combination for DRUKHARI players. So I've fulfilled the battalion, got my 2 HQs, got my 3 troops, so everything else is just bonus stuff being added on. So we'll bring in the Incubi, or Incubi, however it's pronounced. I was told that Incubi is wrong, then Incubi is wrong, and then Incubi is wrong, Incubi, Incubi, so I just say Incubi. Maybe do a poll on it on the, on the channel to see which is the right pronunciation. So that's the new plastic models. Finally got those finished and painted up. They are incredible, they're really, really nice. I've already got 10 of the original metal ones, but the plastic ones are fantastic. So I'm very happy to get those painted up. So 5 of those. Excellent support for Drazaar. It's hard to justify taking him on his own without a unit of Incubi, so Incubi. So 5 of them to fight alongside. Yeah, and they'll amplify his attacks. He gives them a bonus +1 to wound rolls and so on. There are 3 attacks base each. Incredible. The Clavex is on 2+ weapon skill and 4 attacks base. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, really, really good. Lethal precision, 6+ is +2 to the damage roll. So damage 3 potentially. Yeah, they're a great bodyguard and a compliment to Drazaar Master of Blows for sure. So, really happy to have them in. Total points of 5 of them is 80 points now for 9th edition. Then, as I'm trying to get my transport or any type of vehicles inside this list here, so I add in, yes, I add in a Venom here. It's not going to be for the Incubi, but I can bring it in here to this battalion, but I just want it to partake of the Carbal bonuses. So 1 Venom comes in, they'll be used for witches later on. Then I'll also add in, so another 90 points. Then I'll bring in the 2 Raiders, again because I want them Carbal of the Black Heart, even though they're going to have like witch cult units inside. So I mean there they are, I'll put them at the back, but there's 1 Raider. I did paint all the crew. They look so empty without the crew. It's great to add them on the side. So if you can, try and add those on. It looks fantastic. See all the crew hanging off the side. It's well worth doing. Highly recommend it. So on just that. I've tried to do the same with the Harlequins. Paint all the crew and add them on to my Harlequin vehicles. It's just an empty transport just doesn't look quite right. There's the other one. Like so. You can completely change the poses around the models that are hanging off the sides. There's that one. Just tuck it at the back. So Raiders, 70 points each, and then I've gone for Disintegrator Cannon, 20 points for the Disintegrator Cannon, which I rate very highly. It's again very useful against Primaris type targets. Let's see if I can bring it up. So the Raider. I've got plenty of lance weapons already. Disintegrator Cannon is useful against your heavy infantry types. Assault 3, range 36, strength 5, so it gives that nice 3s to wound. AP -3, which really bites a chunk out of the armour. And then it's 2 damage a time, so a real Primaris kind of killing weapon. So no regrets about taking that. That gives me a total of 90 points for each Raider. So we've got plenty of vehicles in this list. It just creates a headache for the opponent. They've got to grind through all these vehicles to try and get through to the softer infantry squads that are inside. So I think it's a decent strategy. Just overwhelm the opponent with too much to try and deal with. They take out 1 venom, 2 venoms, and it's no big deal. In particular, careful, don't break the models. Okay, so that's all the transport vehicles, and all of them. Remember, 6+ feel no pain across the board for taking Cabal of the Black Heart. One other vehicle to add in. Managed to keep the Ravager. So this vehicle's firepower support. I'll just tuck it in there. Firepower support. Again, see it's bulking the army out here quite nicely. And this I have equipped with the Lancers, Dark Lancers, 3 of them. Just giving you range 36, heavy 1, and your reroll 1s to hit, reroll 1s to wound is very, very useful for this kind of vehicle. Strength 8, -4 d6 damage. It becomes an assault weapon if it's equipped on a vehicle. Fantastic, so you can advance with it if you need to. It's nice and quick around the table, 14 inches, so it can move and keep up with other units. But expect to see that hanging around with the Archon as he directs the firepower from the Ravager. Very useful. You're up against enemy vehicles. Can rip through the armour and cause damage with that. So, yeah, very happy to have the Ravager just to boost my firepower. Remember, one of the key points here for the DRUKHARI force is to soften the opponent up first with long range, well directed firepower. Take out key vehicles, neutralise some of their heavier guns, and then loads of Dakka. My infantry firing out of their open top transports, the Venoms laying down a blanket of poisoned firepower, and then you'll often see, if you check out some of the games I've already played, refusing to disembark from the transports. Just the opponent expecting you just to go all guns blazing, but not, just to hold off and just let the firepower do its work, and then as the opponent's weak, then pick on them and wipe them out in sort of a mopping up action. It's not fair, it's a horrible way to play, but that's the whole twist of DRUKHARI. There's no honour in the way they dismantle the enemy force. So that's the kind of theme that's going on with these. So I've jammed a lot of stuff into this battalion. There's still more to come. So I did away with the air wing detachment and looking for things to drop. So for a battalion, I believe you can take 2 flyers. So I've dropped the Razor Wing jet fighter and then instead taken just 2 Void Raven bombers. And I do rate these. They're fantastic models. If you haven't got one in DRUKHARI play, it's well worth getting one. And you'll see it a bit later on, but it's incredible. And a chance to see the effect of the shimmery, off-world alien sort of colour scheme going on here. That's just sprayed silver. Then I spray the silver with varnish first, so you're able to put the washes on without it all bubbling. And then green wash first, and then the blue wash on top. And it gives that shimmery, greeny blue kind of effect. And then you just pick out your highlights with the silver again. Do your edges and some sort of speed sort of marks on there. And it gives you a shimmery kind of effect. Very happy with how it's come out. And then just paint your panels on, do the crazy patterns. Like so. There's all the windows. Detail on that one. So there it is. I got 2 of them. which I think looks very impressive on the board, and you know, for an updated 2000 points army for 9th edition, 2 big flyers just adds a bit of clout to your DRUKHARI force, and again provides decent long range firepower. Big distraction with the opponent. The opponent thinks, well, I can't let these flyers just have free reign on the table, so they start directing firepower to try and bring the flyers down, and that means that there's less firepower coming in against the ground force. It's a Void Rain Bomber, a bit better than the Razor Wing Jetfighter. It's got more wounds, 2 more wounds, it's 12 wounds. The 4-up save, there is the -1 to hit. There is the 5+ Feel No Pain with Night Shields as well. And then the weaponry is better. The Void Lance, range 36, assault 1, there's 2 of them. Strength 9s, you're targeting things like Land Raiders. Very useful. AP -4 again, and D6 damage. So fantastic. You get the missiles. I need to cover the points cost for him in a moment. Void Raven missiles is range 48. Implosion missiles, assault D3, strength 6, -3, 1 damage. It's not that great. Shadowfield missile, I think is better. Shadowfield missile, assault D6, strength 7, -1, 1 damage, but you reroll all your wounds, so it's pretty good. And on top of all of that, the Void Mine, which is very powerful. Once per battle, a Void Raven Bomber can drop a mine on an enemy unit it moves over in one of its movement phases. After the Void Raven Bomber is moved, pick one enemy unit that it flew over. Then roll 3d6 for a vehicle or monster, or 1d6 for every other model in the unit, up to a maximum of 10d6. For each 3+, the unit being bombed suffers a mortal wound. Excellent. So at the right point, you can just zigzag across enemy units, or both flyers can coordinate and fly over that target twice and just hammer them with mortal wounds. And there's bound to be a target you need to try and reduce down and grind down, where you can do surprise attacks to the Void Raven Bomber that way. So the Void Mine's excellent. The Lances are excellent. Again, if the Archons are directing firepower rerolling ones to hit and to wound, that's even better. It's got loads of Lances here in the army, or loads of, not so much Lance, sorry, what I mean is loads of strength 8 -4 d6 damage stuff. So that's either the Dark Lances, the Void Lances, the Blasters, Blast Pistols and so on, all that kind of caliber weaponry. It's a real bane for vehicles, especially vehicles that don't have any kind of invuln save, such as Astra Militarum tanks. So I need to give you some points values then. It's the Ravager. I have coming in at 85 points, 60 points for the 3 Dark Lancers, and it's 145 points for that. Okay, so yeah, I'm just checking. Dark Lance, new points values, 15 points on foot and 20 points for a vehicle to take a Dark Lance. Yep, and then Disintegrator Cannon, my apologies, 25 points now. Oh, it's gone up, but it's still worth taking. So your total points value is 95 points for the Raiders with their Disintegrator Cannons. So it's 5 points cheaper if you take the Dark Lance, but the Disintegrator Cannon, I need a bit of anti-heavy infantry. You know, you find out Primaris Marines, it's kind of a bit overkill and wasted if you find a Dark Lance at that target. So Disintegrator Cannon is just that medium kind of heavy infantry killing firepower. So do need that in the list. So I'll keep the Disintegrator Cannons, I think, on the Raiders. So Void Raven Bomber, excellent, really, really good. And the opponent's got to try and chew through all of those wounds. You've got 12 wounds to try and get through, 5+ invuln save, 6+ Feel No Pain, it's -1 to hit. And if the opponent's shooting at that and trying to grind it down, then they're not firing at the other targets. So that fulfills the battalion. Next is the Witch Cult. I couldn't drop the witches. It's great to see them represented in the army as well. So this patrol is Cult of the Red Grief, which is just here. I'll make some room here very carefully for the witches. Gently does it. Oh, it's just one. There you go. You have to look after your models. Witch Cult Obsessions then. Cult of the Red Grief. So I'll lay them out just here. Units of this obsession can charge in the same turn in which they advance. In addition, you can reroll failed charges for units of this obsession. A lot of people suggested taking another cult, but I do like this one, especially in the game. I want them to be able to disembark and reach the target, because again, if they're caught out in the open, they will be destroyed. They've got to be able to reach, and sometimes it's a stretch to try and reach a target. So if they have that ability to disembark 3, then move, then advance and charge and re-roll that charge, you can catch the opponent out with the speed at which they can move, and it just means, you know, there's less of a chance of making some big stretch of a charge. If you're able to just advance and get closer and closer, then it's more of a guarantee that charge is going to go ahead. And especially now with less Overwatch around, then these small units of witches may well prove very useful. So that's their bonus. Taking them. I need 1 HQ choice. So again, when I collect this army and any army, I want to try and do a good representation of the models and the theme and the way they play, and you know, decent sort of fluffy army, and try and make it work competitively as well. So the natural choice is to take Succubus. So just over here. So there she is. Amazing model, the plastic model that Games Workshop, the blister pack that you can buy. The plastic model, they're quite expensive to purchase, but to add in the HQ choice, you could do your own conversion perhaps with a witch model, but I think the Succubus model that Games Workshop has sculpted one of the best DRUKHARI models that they've done. So not too bad. Movement 8, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+, strength 3, toughness 3. There's 5 wounds. It's durable enough. To kill medium and light characters, I think will be her use. 4 attacks as base, 6+ save, but there is the lightning dodge, 4+ invod save, which is very useful. There is combat drugs, power from pain. She's granted reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly witch cult units whilst within 6 inches, so she's going to help the other witch units nearby, which is very useful. And there is the no escape rule as well, which if you're trying to pull away from, makes it a bit more difficult. The Archaic Glaive, so it's a decent weapon. The only downside is -1 to hit rolls, so it sort of gets cancelled out though when you're on +1 to hit rolls from your power from pain ability when it kicks in, so that kind of cancels that out. It's no problem. It's +2 strength, -3 and 1 damage. It's pretty good. So what I do with the Succubus is I take the extra relic, which is the Blood Glaive. I think it's a brilliant relic. She's okay stat wise, but just to give her a bit more of an edge, the Blood Glaive. Yeah, this is big. It really is helpful. Cult of the Red Grief. So it's unique to this cult. Succubus and Archaic Glaive only. So you replace your Archaic Glaive with the Blood Glaive. First off, there's no -1 to hit rolls anymore. Excellent. It's +3 strength instead of +2. So she fights at strength 6, which is excellent. AP -3, which is fantastic. And then the damage, crucially, trying to take out characters, D3 damage. Massive difference. So it's a brilliant, brilliant relic. For the sake of a command point, getting yourself a brilliant weapon. I reckon almost, you know, doubling the potential danger that Succubus can have. So now all of a sudden she becomes a bit of a character killer. Light character killer. Especially ones without any invuln save. Most targets, she's going to be now wounded on a 3+, no problem. And should get her hits, you know, 2s to hit, rerolling 1s. Should get the hits, no problem. So then I actually take second Warlord trait. And it's around here somewhere. This is optional. I think it's worth going for. Yeah, it's Witch Cult. No, I think it's one that's... Yeah, it's here. Here it is. Cult of the Red Grief. Hyper swift reflexes. And again, this is unique to this cult. +1 to invuln save. So she then becomes a 3+ invuln, just to make it a bit more durable in close combat as well. Now, I've got a feeling... No, it's not. It's... Alright, fantastic. Lightning Dodge is a 4+ invuln save across the board. Not just for melee, but an all-round 4+ in 1 save. Brilliant. So 3+ in 1 save, whatever situation she finds herself in. It's worth trying to keep her alive. The relic's really good, so a 3+ in 1 save, very, very useful indeed. So that's the HQ. Now I need my troops. So we welcome the ladies back. 3 units of 5. So small units, which, you know, for 9th edition is even more of a good idea, just for the sake of blast weapons, which again, large units of which is, I don't want them getting blasted to pieces by blast weapons. I can send them off in all different directions, or they can gang up against targets as well. So if I want all 3 units to charge in, they can. Or they can split up and head off in different directions. So a nice bit of flexibility. So the idea of them is you'll see them stacked up inside transport vehicles. Maybe see it later on when we zoom out and see the whole of the force. But nice representation of the witches here. Carbolight Warriors, 3 units of 5. Witches, 3 units of 5. All equipped mostly the same. So all 5 in each squad. Then this is the key bit here. Each Hecatrix or squad leader, I take a blast pistol. This is so useful. So at short range they can just let off a little bit of nasty anti-tank, a little anti-character weaponry. Or they find themselves on their turn and locked in combat, then that pistol can be fired. It's so worth it for the sake of 5 points being added on. And again, you're mounted up in multiple transport vehicles, and all of a sudden you can converge multiple units, dart them all across around a target, and then just let loose of a load of nasty pistols. Some dreadnought or something needs to be taken out. Then even these humble little squads of witches pack a mean punch with that blast pistol. So 1, 2, 3. With that, 2 of the squads have Shardnet and Impalers. Didn't quite have the points for the 3rd squad to take that, but it doesn't really matter. I've got 2 of them equipped with that, so that's fine. And Agonizer in each squad. Just add a little bit of clout in close combat, and the rest armed with the Hecatari blades, I think they're called. Yeah, and blast pistols. So, yeah, dodge is different. Okay, so the Succubus has a 4+ in 1 save all round. They have dodge, which is 6+ in 1 save, and then 4+ in close combat. Power from pain, combat drugs, so the potential to get extra attacks, +1 toughness, extra strength, all those kind of things potentially available. So, and if you haven't seen them already, I'll mention them here. I've got a bag of, I made a video about these. These are absolutely fantastic. So these are your combat drugs, buffs and bonuses. I was using pieces of paper during the games. If you check out the previous battles, it looks awful. These are the dream here for DRUKHARI players. So Serpentine, +1 weapon skill, Hypex, sort of candy colours here, +2 move. I can simply put them, nice DRUKHARI theme, put them next to the relevant units, and they're all marked up during the battle. The colour scheme is fantastic, all matches in nicely. Adrenalite, +1 attack. Spare one of those, and you can get duplicates. Let's see everything else here. They come in complete sets. Serpentine, Hypex again, Serpentine again. Grave Lotus in purple, Painbringer, +1 toughness, and then there's the blue one. Especially if you're into witch cult units in your army. That's the +2 leadership. I doubt I'll use that one very much, but that one's there. Splinter Mind, also available. You just simply place those next to your army or relevant units during the game. Brilliant way to mark them up. So I got these from, I requested these to be made, and Grot Skull's workshop. You can find him on Instagram, and it's not just DRUKHARI stuff that he does. He's done new tokens for Astra Militarum, some amazing sets for Kill Team, really nicely themed sets as well. I'm sure he does requests as well, but you can check him out on Instagram. I think he's on Facebook as well, and you just simply request what you want, and he's able to send these sets out to you, and they're not very expensive at all. They are really, really good. So very excited about that. Finally, to have some decent markers for my combat drugs for the DRUKHARI. So witches are in. And let's see if there's anything else here. Yes. Yep. So these are the last units to be added in. So this army is nice and quick, but then I want some super fast stuff to move around the board. I did have some Lemayans. I dropped those. They're out as well, just to save on points. But I have managed to keep my Reavers. Again, for 9th edition, the ability to grab objectives quickly, and often to grab loads of objectives all over the place and force the opponent to react to what you've done. It sort of takes them away from their main plan, because they know for a fact they can't let you sit on loads of objectives, as you're going to be raking in loads of victory points. So it could disrupt their plans. So you're able to send out loads of units onto objectives quickly. Reavers can do that. It's 18-inch move, and when they advance, it's a guaranteed 8 inches extra. Very quick, and it's assault, so they can still shoot as well. So I've gone for units of 3. So 3 units of 3, and you can see the patterns marked up here. I was going to say I really enjoy painting them. It sort of got a bit laborious after a while, but I love the idea of splitting the colours on either side. So you look at on one side, the green, then blue. And I've seen people change the colours around, you know, green and red, and all sorts of different options you can go for. This ain't really sort of different with the DRUKHARI. Something very off-world and alien with them. So there's the other unit of 3, and then the third unit just here. I don't expect them to last too long. I try and keep them out of trouble. They're only small units. They're not to lead the charge. They want to dart around and grab objectives and to lend some firepower support. I give them all blasters. So a unit of 3 and one model, and each squad is carrying a blaster. Another strength 8 -4 d6 damage shot in each of those squads as well. So the firepower's there, but it's not all in like one Centurion squad, for example. It's been spread about. So if the opponent wants to neutralise all my anti-tank firepower, they literally have to wipe the army out to do that, because every unit, apart from the Venoms, has some kind of anti-tank kind of ability. You've got them in the Reavers. The Witches are carrying blast pistols. The Carbonite Warriors have blasters. The Ravager, the Bombers, all carrying the HQ choices. Succubus is carrying a blast pistol. Yeah, it's a blast pistol on the Succubus. The Glaive is 0 points. So she's 60 points in total for her with a blast pistol. Witches, I'll cover the points here. So Witches, 55 points base of 5 of them, a blast pistol in each squad, an agonizer in each squad, and then 2 of the squads carrying the Shardnet and Impalers, which are 10 points a time, so they're quite expensive. So 2 units of 75 of the Shardnet and Impalers, 1 unit of 65 as well. So if you want to stay nice and cheap, just don't take the Shardnet and Impalers, but it kind of helps locking enemy units down in close combat, and it gives you a little bit of a more damage kind of weapon as well. Then the Reavers coming in at 70 points a time, so 60 points for the unit, and then extra 15 for adding the blaster on as well. So 75 point units, but they can dart about, provide some extra firepower support, claim objectives, and then if they need to, they can gang up and close into close combat. Got 2 attacks each, 3 attacks to the arena champion, and the blade veins are strength 4 -1 on the AP. So yeah, okay, they can do a little bit of something in close combat, not perhaps on their own, but as they start to join up with other units, they can provide a little bit of help in close combat as well. But you've got to be a bit careful with them now. In fact, you've got to be careful with the DRUKHARI in general, with any units that can fly. The skimmers here, the transport vehicles, the Reavers. There's no more pulling out of close combat and being able to shoot. That kind of flexibility has disappeared. So we've got to be a little bit measured, a little bit careful. Can't be too reckless. Got to watch out for getting tapped out or silenced in close combat when it comes to firepower. So that's the kind of theme then that's the whole army covered, and that's the theme that you see on the Drukhari. I'll zoom out in just a moment so you can see the list. But I've tried to go for a nice representation of all the, well, a lot of the Drukhari units. And what you're seeing here is like a mechanized army, and that provides some nice durability and speed to your army. So you're able to move around, redirect your force, and move on to objectives very quickly compared to other factions. It adds a level of durability. Opponents got to grind their way through all of these transport vehicles to try and then get through to the softer infantry. It's sort of holding off with the infantry and letting loose of them at the right point during the game, and just using your transport vehicles to protect them until the timing is right. Bit of some Reavers here to add some more speed with them, and a bit more firepower support. It's decent characters as well. Drazaar and the Incubi, fantastic when they can get into close combat and cause trouble. The Archon as that linchpin, that key unit, just to provide decent buffs and bonuses, and the Succubus to guide the witches and to help them out. It'd be great. It's great they've got a sort of a. Oh yeah, that's the theme. So it was the two Archons then. It was the father and the son, but now either the father or the son. I think it's the son I've got in command now. Yes, this is how it works out. So the son, wherever he's gone, is I've lost him. There he is. So the son, he's got married to the Succubus. You see, times have moved on. The Archons got married, and now they fight together as husband and wife on the battlefield. So there you go. So that's, I'm just sort of justifying the the structure of the army here. Okay, so that's the idea. So the son's in charge of the Carbolites here, and then the wife, the Succubus here, she takes command of the witches. So that's the idea for the army. So what we'll do now is add, and then also some firepower coming in from the Void Raven bombers, just screaming jets flying over the top as well, just to add to the pandemonium being caused. And yeah, how disheartening for the opponent. They've got the decent tanks, their firepower's ready, and then from long range the Drukhari just melt them with their firepower, and then their infantry starts getting poisoned and picked on, and then at that point where they're weak, you just swamp them in close combat and bring them down. The raid's over and everyone's been dead or captured and taken alive. So that's the kind of theme going on with the Drukhari. So you get an idea of sort of how I've really started enjoying using them, you know, executing a decent attack. That's really good fun to plan that out, to see it happen on the battlefield. More now in 9th edition, sort of trying to cover the way things have changed. There is a lot more sort of board control involved, so it's not one big force making a big raid anymore. It is going to be a fair bit of spreading out, but I think this Drukhari list has the ability to do that. I can send units off to claim objectives and spread out, and with the firepower being quite long range, they can spread out and still provide that firepower support. Anyway, so that's the idea. I think it should do okay for 9th edition, but it's only really the battles that will tell how well this list will do. We'll zoom out now, take a look at the army. Alright, so there's the list. It's hard to get them all on screen here, but just to give you an idea of the whole footprint of the army, just about managed to get the flyers on the screen. So, and this helps me point out where each of the units goes. So you can see for the battalion, the Carbolight Warriors inside their Venoms. So 1, 2, 3, 5 in each. Then the Archon, Succubus, Drazaar Master of Blades, and the Bodyguard Heavy Infantry, the Incubi or Incubi. All of those fit inside the Raider with the higher transport capacities. They all go inside there. And then the other Raiders carrying the 2 units of 5 witches just to fulfill the transport capacity. And again, they can work together, they can split off in different directions, but 2 units of 5, each with the blast pistol in each of those witch squads. And then the other witch squad, 5 of them inside the 4th Venom, just there. So everything mechanised up. Then the Ravager just here, some more firepower support. Remember all these Venoms carrying their splinter cannons, tons of deck are available from them. And then the Void Raven bombers with their firepower, the ability to drop mines and cause disruption. And then the Reavers, 1, 2, 3 to add some more speed, a bit more firepower support as well, available to this Drukhari force. So that's the army here. It's pretty good size, I reckon, despite all the extra transport vehicles Here, nice amount of infantry, got the bikers, some decent characters mixed in with the list as well. So that's the army. Leave your own comments and suggestions. If you rate this list, then by all means make comments about that in the comment section below. If you think the list is no good, or you think there's things you change, or there's weaknesses, then that's all open for discussion as well. You could talk about units to be added in, to be taken out, things like relics, warlord traits, all those kind of things that you can do to enhance an army. That's all open for discussion in the comments section below. And if you're thinking about getting into Drukhari, or you're new to collecting Drukhari, perhaps you've just started getting into them and you've bought a few units, not sure which direction to go, by all means you can copy what I've done here. Check out the comment section, see what experienced Drukhari players are saying. They may well point out some really good combinations different to what I've shown you here in this video. But it's all designed as a help to you as you collect Drukhari. Perhaps you've even been playing them for a long time and you've seen some new ideas that you can try out here with this list. But I reckon for 9th edition, it's that ability to spread out, take and hold objectives, and to be able to coordinate a decent attack that will win you games of 40k. I think this list is equipped to do that. But that's the video. It really helps me out if you just hit the thumbs up, and it's much appreciated. If you're not subscribed, then subscribe already. Leave a comment in the comment section below, that helps the video as well. And by all means share it with your Drukhari friends as well. But that's the complete army for the Drukhari, 2000 points, 9th edition. Keep a lookout for more complete army videos on the channel. I do hope to make a top 5 unit video for the Drukhari as well. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.